Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a delicious cookie recipe. Now you guys loved my cookie recipe that I did, the Ferrero Rocher one, not so long ago. So I thought I would make a everything chocolate cookie using the remaining chocolate ingredients that I have in the pantry. So I literally have so much left over from Christmas, and coming up to Easter, I'm only gonna have more chocolate in the pantry. So I thought, let's put it all into a lovely cookie. And obviously you can choose whatever chocolate you want to make into this cookie, as long as you've got the right amount, it works perfectly. So I have some favorites and I have some Lindt balls. Now, my personal favorite collection, actually no, I don't like Turkish or cherry ripe, so they're not going to go in my cookie today. So I'm going to hide these, and I'll find another use for these at some point in my life. But otherwise, we've got picnics, we've got morrows, we've got caramilk, we've got caramello, twirls, and that's exactly what we want. So we're going to basically bung all of these into a lovely New York City cookie, similar to how we did in our previous video. So now that I've taken away the ones that I don't want, I'm basically gonna measure out all of this lovely chocolate, and we want a total of 200 grams. And as always, all of the quantities for the cookies are gonna be in the description box below. But I'm gonna weigh out 200 grams of my chocolate, and then we can cut it all up and bung it in our cookies. All right, so that is, it doesn't look it, but that's 200 grams of chocolate. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of all the rubbish. I've still got heaps more chocolate left over, but I'm gonna reserve, I've got some little Lindt balls, and I'm gonna reserve, just to make these extra chocolatey, I'm gonna reserve these balls, and then I'm gonna put the dough around the balls just to make them extra chocolatey. So we'll move those aside, and then we can cut up our little chocolate pieces. My knife. So I'm gonna leave them kind of chunky because I do want to be able to see like some of the chocolate when it's in the cookie, but I'm not gonna leave them like I want a nice even distribution of each different chocolate bar in each cookie. Oh, cut up my balls. So I've got a mixture of Morrow, I've got a mixture of Boosts in here, a little crunchy, some Lindt balls. I've only got one caramello, which is, no, one caramilk, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay. Then a bit of caramello, that one. And then what else have we got? This one's crunchy. Yeah, so we've got a right mixture going on, which is exactly what we want. And obviously whatever chocolate you like, you just put in there. You just kind of make them however you want to make them. As long as you stick to the right measurements, you'll be fine. Okay, all right, so now that they're pretty much all chopped up, we can move these to the side and bring out the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so now it's time to actually make our lovely cookie dough balls. So as always, this is a New York City cookie. We're gonna pop them in the freezer. So we're gonna make the dough first. We've got some cold butter here, put into cubes. And we also have some brown sugar and some white sugar. And we're gonna pop those in and then pop it on a low to medium speed until basically it's come together, but we don't want to cream it. We just want to have it sort of like nuggety. All right, so basically, as you can see, we've kind of still got the chunks of butter. It's pretty much just buttered nuggets with sugar, which is exactly what we want because we don't want to overwork this mixture. Then we are going to add our lovely chopped up chocolate that we have just prepared. So I'm going to pop all of that in, like so. And then get all that lovely crunchy dust in there. And then turn that back on and mix that all together until, again, it's roughly combined. Fabulous. So now that has pretty much come together. Also, some of the chocolate will break up as you keep mixing it, so you kind of don't want to do it too much more than that. Then it's time to add our flours. So I have my plain flour here that I will add in, as well as my self-raising flour. Got a bit of flour on the bottom of there. And then I have my baking powder and my salt that I'll add in. Okay, and then now we can basically beat this up until it's all thoroughly combined. We don't want to overmix it, so I'd say no more than a minute. Lovely. Okay, so that has pretty much come to some sort of like sandy kind of texture. You can still see the little nuggets of butter, but you can also still see that the butter and the flour have somewhat come together. Now it's time to add our egg. So we're going to add a whole egg in there. And then that is basically it. We're going to beat this up until this is all combined. Again, we kind of want to keep it nice and chunky, so don't overwork the dough. All right, so now our dough has come together really nicely. You can sort of see that it's lovely and combined. All of that chocolate is lovely and dispersed, so we can get rid of our KitchenAid. And as you can see, all the chocolate is lovely and come together. You've got the nuggets of the little crunchy in there, lint balls, all spread throughout, which is exactly what we want. So now it's time to basically weigh out our dough balls. Now, as I said before, we are going to pop our cookie dough into the freezer, but we're going to create the balls before we pop it in the freezer. So I have a little container here ready to go. We're going to go for roughly around 90-gram balls of cookie dough. So we've got our scales, 86, so we'll add a few little more nuggets, 95, 89, that'll do. All right, so we're just gonna really gently mold it into a ball, but we're gonna push our finger through the center so we can create, you know, a little hole for our lovely little lint ball that we're going to add in just to make it super extra. So I'm going to just pop that into the center, kind of mush the cookie dough around it. We don't want to make it particularly circle because the sort of classic look and feel of a New York City cookie is like rough on the top, which is exactly what we want. So we're just going to like very, very gently mold it into a ball and then pop it into a little container and carry on through the rest of the dough. You're going to get roughly around 9 big balls from this recipe. Obviously, if you want to make them smaller, by all means do so. I'm going to do a mixture of different coloured balls inside. So some are going to have white chocolate, some are going to have the hazelnut, the milk, or the dark. Just whatever you've got handy. If you didn't want to put any extra chocolate in, you don't have to, but I obviously want to. All right, so I have made 8 90-gram balls. I have probably enough for maybe half of one. So I actually lie, the recipe doesn't make 9, it makes 8.5 if you are going with 80-gram balls. So we'll just make one tiny little one just with the remainder of the ingredients. And then we can basically pop this into the freezer for ideally overnight. Otherwise, we want to leave it in there for like 3 to 4 hours until our balls are fully frozen. And then we will bake them later on. So we'll be back soon. So what I've got now is my oven preheating at 180 degrees Celsius. I've also whacked my baking tray in there with my baking paper so that we can have lovely crispy bottoms to our lovely New York City cookies, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna grab my baking tray out of the oven. All right, obviously if you are young, please don't do this. Use your parents or your caregivers. All right, so then we're gonna pop down 9 of our cookies. No, not 9, sorry, 6 of our cookies. Quite evenly spaced out. They do spread a little bit, but not too much. And then we're gonna pop them in the oven for roughly around 18 to 22 minutes, depending on how you like your cookie. If you like it lovely and gooey inside, then you want to pop it in for 18 minutes. If you like it like pretty much well done, you want it 22 to 24 minutes. So I'm going to pop mine in for 18 minutes because that's how I like them. And then we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, our cookies have come out of the oven and they are looking absolutely delicious. You can see the little bits of nuggets of crunchy of this one, which has obviously got some crunchy in it. So I'm very excited to open this one. This one I couldn't help myself. I actually opened earlier, and you've obviously got a lovely white lint ball in there. So that just looks delicious. So I'm really excited to try that one. So let's go. They're so good. You've got the lovely gooey center and then the crunchy bottom and the crunchy top, and it just is like the perfect texture. And that was, we only cooked these for 18 minutes, so you can leave them in for longer if you want to, but I love the gooey center, so I would highly recommend 18 minutes. Yum, 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 yum. I'm not going to open them all because that would just be very unpleasant for whoever is going to receive these cookies. But I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please like, share and subscribe. And obviously if there's any other cookie recipes you want me to make, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to film those for you. I'm thinking my next cookie recipe might be something to do with Biscoff because I'm loving Biscoff at the moment. Well, I always love Biscoff, but I'm back on the trend, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely week and we shall see you next week. Bye guys.